Hello, this is CapCan Knows, the official podcast of the Capital Area College Access Network. You may be familiar with our newsletter articles of the same name. We are excited to engage the community in conversations about college access. I am your host, Jacob Tkachik, and AmeriCorps Vista, serving with CapCan. Today is a very special episode because once again back with me is Michelle Strauss, Executive Director of CapCan, and our special guest today is Trent Mauk, the Training Coordinator for UA Plumbers and Pipefitters, and a brand new board member for CapCan. So let's get started. First of all, Trent, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me, Jacob and Michelle.
All right, and thank you again, Michelle, for joining me again.
Happy to be here with one of our board members.
All right, so Trent, really quick, let's get you started with our first question. Who encouraged you to pursue a career in the trades, and why was it important to you to continue your technical education after high school?
I'd have to say where it started for me was 8th grade. I wanted to be an architect, to be honest with you, and I had a guidance counselor. We sat down to write out my 4-year plan for high school, and he asked me, what do you want to be? And I said, I want to be an architect. And there was a special program out of Eaton Arisa that it was a home construction program where the kids built a house, and he said, it'd probably be really good for you to know how to build a house if you're going to draw a house. And I said, hey, this sounds great. And he said, the kids build a house, you go for half the day to the school and you build a house, and then at the end of the year they sell the house, which is was one of the most successful programs during that period of time, and it actually brought a lot of money back into the school system. But
oh, wow.
So I got into the program my junior year, and we built a house. There were 20 of us, and we had a morning class and an afternoon class, and we sat in there and built a 3-bedroom ranch, and got to May of that school year, and there was a phone right in the classroom, and got a call. The teacher went and answered the phone call, and there was a plumber out of Grand Ledge looking for an apprentice. And at the time, I needed a summer job. He asked if there are any volunteers, and shoot, it was 3 miles from my house, and I could ride my bike, so I'm like, yeah, sign me up. So I guess that's kind of where it started. And at the time, I really wasn't, my career path was not set to go into the plumbing field, but with the introduction of the job and it being an apprenticeship for me, it really kind of opened my eyes up to another possibility that I really never was aware of. I don't know of anybody that really ever wakes up and says, you know what, I want to be a plumber when I grow up. And I think that that little seed that my guidance counselor planted in my head and got me to that class, there are a lot of forks in the road that led me to that path, but I would have to say he's probably the one that generated it all.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Could you please tell us more about your role as the training coordinator for UA Plumbers and Pipefitters?
Oh, I am the day-to-day, I oversee all the day-to-day operations, all the incoming applicants to our program. I develop curriculum. I keep our program and our records in DOL compliance. I'm a representative for our veterans to receive their GI Bills. I'm a guidance counselor. We do continued education classes for all our journeymen. A lot of our certifications are third party, and they have expiration dates or updates every couple years, and we have to schedule those classes and that training to keep those certificates current. A coach, I think my biggest role here is to add value to every one of our members and our apprentices that come through the program.
Thank you.
So Trent, you started to allude to some of this. What are the requirements of a young person to enroll in the Plumbers and Pipefitters apprenticeship program, and how do they apply?
Our requirements to get into the apprenticeship, they got to be 18, have to have a driver's license, high school diploma or GED, a birth certificate, and an intestinal fortitude to see their way through this journey. It's not a job, it's a career, and Sometimes we get applicants in here, everybody, and it's awesome. We're hypersensitive now to the skilled trades, but I still feel like some of the kids that come in here, or young adults, are still trying it on as a coat. So they need to, just like I said, have the fortitude to find their way through the 5 years of education and the apprenticeship program. Every applicant that's interested in joining can get on our website 24/7, 365 days, www.ua333.com is where they can apply.
So Trent, one of the things we hear out in the community from our business partners is that they are always looking for talent, qualified talent. And right now we seem to have a lack of qualified talent. So once you have an apprentice who's finished the program, who are the recipients of these apprentices out in the community?
Well, when we call an apprentice, when I get done, we go through our application process and we get an applicant on a list. At that point, that list goes to our union, and the union doesn't provide our jobs, our contractors do, so we have partnering contractors that will then call the hall and ask for an apprentice. Say, we want a first-year apprentice on the list. So what's really cool with our education also is that first day they're making money. Again, 90% of their apprenticeship is done out in the field. So the very first day they start, the education process starts, and the recipient is whoever calls for that apprentice. And that recipient would be our contractors. And what's really cool about our training program is the relationship between the union and our contractors. The training center basically steps in, and we're a mediator between both parties, the union and the contractors, and we're together looking for what's in the best interest of the apprenticeship program. I'm the training coordinator, but every decision I make has to go in front of the committee, and the committee is made up of 4 contractors and 4 union representatives, and together we come up with the best solution, the best curriculum, expenditures, which is a really awesome partnership that we've had in place for over 50 years now, and it really helps with the management side of things and the union side of things, and keeps us all on common ground of what kind of applicants are we trying to build and better both parties.
So is there a waiting list right now for apprentices in the plumber and pipe fitters?
There is. We get anywhere from 200 to 300 applicants a year that apply for a position. We have testing that needs to be done with those applicants going on the list. We have a mechanical aptitude test and a 6th grade math test that they do. Once they get their application in, and that's kind of a test in itself. So we mentioned the 5 different requirements that are required for the application process. A lot of applicants don't even make it past that because we can't process an application unless we have all of those points. So it's kind of a test built in. So once we get all their information, and then we go ahead and schedule a test, and we'll call each applicant and let them know when the test is. They come in and take a test. If they score 70% or better in both processes, then they go on to an interview. Those 2 numbers get added together, and then a numeric value is made for each applicant. I believe last year we had 250 applicants, and this last apprenticeship class we just brought in, we have 45 new apprentices that have been added to our workforce. So sometimes it's kind of daunting when people ask, what are my chances of getting in? I can tell you they're 0 if you don't apply. And there's additional points given to reapplies. So if you don't make it this go around, you can reapply in a year, and then come on in, and there's some additional points because, of course, we really want to cater to the individuals that really want to do this and really want to make this a living and a career, and those seem to be our best apprentices when we bring them in. Those that have maybe had to apply once or twice before. But don't get discouraged. Keep applying until you get in.
And what's the average starting salary of an apprentice, and then what do you work your way up to when you become a journeyman?
So it's kind of hard. We base everything on what you make an hour. Our apprentices start off because, one year they might work 1,800 hours, and then another year they might work 2,200 hours. So we don't really base anything on salaries. It's all an hourly wage. Our apprentices start at a click over $17 an hour with full benefits. That includes medical, that includes retirement. And they get that their first month they sign up. Their family, everybody's covered. And then after the 5 years, well, every 6 months, depending on their school and their work hours, they will get about $1.75 an hour raise until we get them up to about 90% journeyman rate, which is in about their 4th year, and then they work that last year at 90% journeyman rate. When they graduate, our scale for journeyman is $37.79 an hour, and then you continue on your benefits again through the whole course of your career, basically.
Mm-hmm. So Trent, I was fortunate to be able to come over and tour the training center with you. We want our listeners to know what educational opportunities are available through the training center.
Well, our apprentices come to the training center every 2 weeks for an 8-hour day, and actually most of their training is done out in the field. 90% of their training is done out in the field. With every single aspect that you could imagine in the plumbing and pipe fitting industry they're exposed to. Through the schooling, through their work hours and school hours, they're able to write for their state plumbing license. They're able to get weld certs, backflow license, rigging certifications. We have CAD classes here. We have get our guys. We have prep tests for master classes, how to become a contractor in the plumbing and pipe fitting industry. It's kind of a cornucopia, if you will, of training in the pipe fitting industry. Basically, we can, and if there's anything that comes up, we're on top of it as far as new technologies, code certifications, code compliances. We have to stay current with all that. And then, again, our journeymen also have to have continued education. That keeps us pretty busy around here. And all of that training to our members is at no cost either. So it makes it very accessible for any of our guys out there that want to come in and get that additional training, and they can get it. And all our certifications are third-party certified, so it's not like they come in here and we wave a wand and they're qualified. These are third-party administered tests. A lot of our test samples and stuff get sent out to third-party verifiers, and then our guys get certified.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned at the beginning that this is a 5-year program?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then they also have an opportunity to potentially go on to Washtenaw Community College. So tell us a little bit about that partnership.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Our partnership with Washtenaw Community College through the UA. When they graduate our apprenticeship, they qualify for 45 credits that they can apply to their construction supervision degree. It's been a great program. There's instead of having to go through WCC for 20 credits, they only have to, 20 classes, they only have to go for 5. So it really gives our guys a leg up when they get out, and if they want to continue to go in that direction as far as their education, they're more than able to.
Mm-hmm. Great. And most of that education is paid for through the apprenticeship program, or is that something that people have to self-fund?
Well, to go through WCC for their final 5 classes, we offer a $250 credit or scholarship to every applicant every year through our apprenticeship. So we would offset their yearly cost by $250. It's not a lot, as you know, but it every little bit helps, and upon that, then it's on them to go ahead and seek that out.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm sure people are wondering, why in the world would the plumbers and pipefitters be interested in post-secondary education? So can you talk a little bit about why that's important to your members?
Well, I think that post-secondary degrees still carry a lot of clout in our world. Everybody thinks that we put hard hats on and we don our tool belts and we go to work every day, but there is something to be said about having a degree, especially if you want to go climb the ladder, if you will. And we have plenty of ladders available, not only the ones on the job, but the ones in the trailers to progress your way up through supervision into office roles. There's some classes that, of course, we don't offer here that are available through that degree program, and also off of that, it's a springboard into a bachelor's degree if our apprentices are so interested in doing so. But through that construction supervision degree, that'll give our members an opportunity to possibly go into leadership roles for our construction companies and our partners that we have in our program.
Okay. So I know that for our organization, we're out in the community talking with young people about continuing education beyond high school. It's really not a question anymore of either career or college. It's really both, and it's important for us to have a partnership with plumbers and pipefitters and other trade organizations to be able to show people that there is a good, strong partnership between continuing your education and careers. So why did you want to join CAPCAN and be involved in the work that we do to increase post-secondary education?
Yeah, Michelle, I thought for myself, we need to be able to offer other opportunities or alternatives to college. Not everybody has the money to go or the means to be able to go. And not everybody is made to enter the corporate world. There's a lot of kids out there that are hands-on type of people, and I think with you guys, the partnership that we have with you guys, I think it's vital and important that we offer, I guess, an exit ramp for those kids that don't want to go into the college end of things, but maybe skilled trades is another avenue that we can offer. And I know you guys run into that. Most people seeking college go through you guys to plan a route for that. And I know without a doubt, I'm sure you guys have plenty of people that also come through you going, hey, maybe college really isn't my thing. I'm more of a hands-on person. I like being outside. I like being indoors. I like being wet. I like being dry. I really like working with my hands. I don't want a lot of debt. And I like to think that we could give you guys an avenue to maybe steer those individuals in that direction, and then our umbrella becomes a lot wider.
Mm-hmm. And I think what we need to remind our listeners is that we define college very broadly. It's any type of post-secondary degree or certification. So an apprenticeship program fits into that certification definition, obviously, but then you also have stackable programs, as you were saying, that you're earning some college credits that can be transferred or articulated to Washtenaw Community College. So there are a lot of exit and entrance ramps, as sort of you were alluding to, for young people, and we're just trying to help students find another good match and fit for continuing their education, because most young people might go out into the workforce right after high school, but eventually they're going to hit that wall, and that this is an opportunity that might allow them to continue to work and pay for themselves to survive, as well as paying for their education as they move forward.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more.
Great.
So, kind of building on that conversation between you and Michelle Trent, there are a lot of conversations that are had between the difference between going into the trades and going into college. And as Michelle said, we at CapCan do define college very broadly. So when we say college is for everyone, we mean it, because even though a four-year degree or that path might not be right for every student, for example, providing an exit ramp for students who do want to get their hands dirty or don't want that debt, we really support that as well. So, but because there's so many misconceptions about the relationship between post-secondary education and then also the trades or apprenticeship programs, can you please clear up any of those misconceptions?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is that they're different. And Michelle's exactly right. They are pretty much one and the same. For ours, of course, it's minus the debt. We still keep grades here. We still have, you're still required to go to school. There's accountability. And I think both college and, of course, the trades, we want to make adults who can be contributing members to society, and we all benefit from that, of course, when we're functioning and we can, put food on our table for the next 40 years. And I think that's what it all boils down to. Whether you're college, whether you're skilled trades, it's what can we do to provide for ourselves and those around us.
Thank you so much, Trent. And unfortunately, it seems like that's all the time we have for today. And I have one last question for you. So we end every interview with CapCan Knows, where you would state your name and what you know. So I ask you, Mr. Mauk, who are you and what do you know?
My name is Trent Mauk, and I know that every house and every business has a drip or a slow drain, and there will be work in my industry, I know, for at least the next 50 years. Automation will never replace us. It's a great career. Again, like I said, that it's one of those that you can put food on your table, be proud of what you're doing, and the Plumbers have got a motto that says we protect the health and the well-being of the nation, and we feel that way every single day we go to work, that we're able to provide a service to people, and it's ever changing. And for me, I love what I do, and most of the guys that come into this trade do the same thing. They come in and they stay until they retire, and thankful that we've helped those around us. And if we got any young people that are thinking about ever coming into this route, it's very rewarding, and it's still one of those crafts too that you can lay your hand on something, put it in, and have it in there for 50 years. A motto, a man's work is a self-portrait of himself, rings loud and true in what we do every single day. And I appreciate you having me on your podcast here, and it's been awesome.
Thank you again, Trent. And for our listeners, the links that Trent mentioned before with the website and everything else will be in the description below. So please check them out when you get the chance and share information about apprenticeships with those students who are considering such a pathway. For more information on CapCan, please be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. The links will also be in the video description below. Or visit our website at capcan.org. Thank you all for listening to us today, and we will see you again very soon.